Someone asked if my Dell tablet here, the model number, whatnot's in the title of the video, can run Genshin Impact. Theoretically it can, but I'm currently having an issue right now that I want to also make note about. The computer thinks it's not connected to the internet when I do a update. I want to make sure this thing is up to date before I try running Genshin Impact on this thing. And as you can tell, it constantly errors out. Even though if I go to Bing, or not Bing, but Microsoft Edge, let's say I want to go to eBay. eBay loads up, and if I click on something, it's loading the pages. I'm clearly connected to the internet. Everything's properly set up, and yet it thinks it's not connected to the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow this computer away, reinstall most likely Windows 11, because this thing does support Windows 11. And if Genshin Impact runs perfectly fine with Windows 11, then I'll come back. But if I have issues with Windows 11, I'll just reinstall Windows 10 and hope whatever this stupid error is basically gone by reinstalling Windows 10. But with that said, that is something I want to point out with this particular tablet. It's, at least for Windows 10 updates, it goes full stupid. So with that said, I'll get this thing all set up off camera and come back. Well, at least I have something to watch as I get this thing up and running properly. I'm going to watch Griffin play this abomination. Alright, quick update. I got Windows 11 installed and I'm now actually able to install updates. So I'm currently downloading Genshin Impact, and we'll come back when everything's done and up and ready to roll. I might need to look for GPU drivers. I know I already have them installed, but just in case. But like I said, I'm going to do all that off camera, and I'll come back when Genshin Impact is all ready to go. I know I said I'll come back when Genshin Impact is up and running, but I want to show that there are some updates that need to be installed that are not found through the normal updating utility from Windows, nor Intel's updating utility. You gotta use Dell Support Assistant to get the more proper drivers and whatnot. So I'm gonna go get everything all up to date, make sure everything's functioning properly, and then I'll come back when Genshin Impact is ready to roll. Alright, to answer the question right now, can I play Genshin Impact? Yes. But at a playable frame rate, as of right now, unlikely. But I've yet to actually log in and mess with the settings. But it does technically run the game, but the frame rate doesn't look to be that adequate. So I'm going to log in, do some manipulation with the settings, and see if I can get this into a playable state. So to answer the question, can this tablet run Genshin Impact? Yes, but the frame rate is pretty stinking atrocious. And when it comes to the settings, due to the way they designed this game, there's no way to play at 720p at full screen mode like every other game. So you're either forced to play at 1080p full screen with everything set to lowest, or 720p. And let's see, go to 720p. Where's that stupid option? And then do that. And the frame rate, I think, goes a little bit better. Nope, frame rate's basically the same. Now there's also one other thing I did to get this into a semi-playable state, so give me a second. God, this stupid game is retarded when it comes to controls. So what I did to get this into a playable-ish state is I went into the settings for screen resolution. And I went to display resolution to 720p. That way, so I can at least play the game at 720p. But it looks like the frame rate really stays the same, so I'm just going to go back to 1080p full screen. As you can tell, this game really doesn't play that well on this tablet. Now, like I said, can you play it? Yes, but it's a pretty horrible experience. At least for me. Frame rate seems to be a little more stable in the actual wilderness and whatnot, so that's nice. But I actually don't play this game that often, so I don't know where the more demanding parts of it are. But I was interested in seeing if this tablet here could actually run Genshin Impact. And technically it can, but not adequately by any stretch of the imagination. Invisible wall much? Oh, asset's not loading in. Holy shit.
Why not keep me company for a while? There'll be plenty of time for work later.
I need to swap there. I also need to swap the voice acting in Japanese. This reminds me of the Wii U emulator way back when the Wii U emulator first came out and for playing Breath of the Wild. To where grass wouldn't render or anything like that. Jeez. There we go. So, to answer the question, can Genshin Impact run on this tablet? Technically, yes, it can. But the frame rate is very, very piss poor. Now, I actually don't know if the guy that asked me the question is actually looking at getting this one off of eBay. But, I don't know how much he actually has also, but I do want to give a suggestion on something you can play Genshin Impact on. So, give me a second. I would actually suggest getting something like a base model late 2014 Mac Mini. Even though this Mac Mini only has 4 gigs of RAM, this thing runs circles around this tablet when it comes to running Genshin Impact. And you can get one of these off of eBay for like $150. If you're willing to spend like another extra $50, you can get the next model up that has 8 gigs of RAM. I would actually suggest getting the 8 gig variant instead of the 4 gig variant, but if you're wanting something cheap that can run Genshin Impact, again, I would suggest getting a base model late 2014 Mac Mini and then boot camp it and put Windows 10 on it. So I will be right back. I gotta get this thing plugged up to my TV and whatnot, and I'll show Genshin Impact running on this Mac Mini. So be right back. Alright, I got the Mac Mini booted up. Before I swap it over to Windows, there's one other thing I do want to talk about. Now, if you don't want to get a Mac Mini to run Genshin Impact, I would suggest looking for something with a bare minimum of Intel HD Graphics 5000 or higher. Make sure it's this or higher. That way, so when you try to play Genshin Impact on whatever device you choose, you'll actually get a playable frame rate and whatnot. So let me boot this thing into Windows and come back. Alright, so I got the Mac Mini booted up with Windows 10. There's one more thing I would suggest you do if you actually get into something like this. And that is download a little fan controlling program, which is refusing to open up right now because of Mac Mini using the hard drive as a piece of garbage. The hard drive I'm using is kind of toast. But I would suggest downloading this tool right here so you can manually control the fan speed. What I do whenever I'm actually doing anything Windows related on this Mac Mini, I go to the configuration of values and I would set to 3000 RPM. It's a constant 3000 RPM, so it does make a little bit more noise than it normally would under Mac OS. But now it will be able to maintain its temperatures and actually keep itself fairly cool. I have a nice little core temp right here, which as you can see is taking a little while to load because again the hard drive is going bad. But as you can see, the temperatures are very under control with the fan spinning at a constant 3000 RPM. And this will become very helpful when you're actually playing a game like Genshin Impact and whatnot. So with that said, I'll come back when Genshin Impact is done loading up, because again, the hard drive is on its way out. So I'll have to replace the hard drive in this thing again. I'll probably want to get an SSD for this thing, but I don't got money for a 1TB SSD, but I'll figure things out when the hard drive in this thing finally shits to bed. So here's Genshin Impact loading up. As you can tell, it's downloading resources and whatnot, but you can see it's a lot more smoother. Again, this is just a late 2014 base model Mac Mini, but it's already running circles around that Dell tablet that I just showed off initially. Unnecessary file integrity check is absolutely unnecessary. Alright, so here's Genshin Impact running on that Mac Mini like I was saying. Now obviously it's having a little bit of trouble running it initially because it has to still load in a few assets from a dying hard drive. But as you can tell, the frame rate is just so much more nicer. Can I catch that thing? Yes I can. Now one thing to note is it looks a little jagged right now, and that's because I'm not playing at native resolution. So let's go back into the settings. Let's go into graphics. I'm at everything lowest, but I have a render resolution set to 6. I'll set render resolution to 1, and we'll see what happens. Okay, and just like I thought, at 1080p, the frame rate basically goes to where it was on the Dell tablet, but it looks a lot nicer. But for something like this, I could easily play at 1080p with and the game just froze. I think I might be able to get away with 8. Oh, I can easily get away with 0.8 and then still get a very playable frame rate. This is more than playable at 0.8. If I remember how to learn with the controller, that would be nice. Isn't there something up here I can shoot? I can't remember. I swore there was something up here. Well, like I said, I don't play this game that often, so it's expected for me to forget where stuff is. But as you can tell, this thing smokes the tablet. Oh, there's something I can shoot. Okay, I need to stop this one that has more power. Now obviously if you're running on a newer hard drive that wasn't failing, or an SSD, loading in assets and whatnot wouldn't take as long and the game wouldn't stutter as much. But like I said, it's running 10 times more smoother than it was when it came to the tablet. So if you're looking to, I would suggest not getting that tablet for Genshin Impact. I would suggest getting something like the Mac Mini I'm using, or something with Intel 5000 series integrated graphics or better. So I think with that said, I'm actually going to do stuff in game and then upload the video.